Stanley Young had sworn he was done. The terrifying encounter, the chilling whispers of the 12, had left him shattered, his resolve to quit absolute. He had seen too much, heard too many truths that twisted the very fabric of his understanding. His faith, once a bedrock, now felt like shifting sand. Psalm 83 echoed in his mind, a prophecy of nations conspiring against the divine. The knowledge he carried was a heavy, unsettling burden. Yet, here he was, drawn back into their clandestine fold. An invisible force, a silent summons, had pulled him from the shadows he sought. He felt like prey, caught in an unseen snare, despite his profound dread. The air itself seemed to thicken with an unspoken threat. He was a lamb returning to the butcher's stall, knowing his fate, yet powerless to resist. The dread was a cold, living thing, coiling in his gut. The room was a stark, unsettling tableau. A sterile, cathedral-like boardroom, its obsidian table reflecting the dim, oppressive light. The atmosphere vibrated with a predatory hunger, an electric hum of power. At its head sat Fritz Heitler, the group's leader. His eyes, sharp and glinting, missed nothing. He was the spider at the center of a meticulously woven web. Around the table, the architects of chaos gathered. Rappaport Marlin, the media titan, controlled narratives with a whisper. Barry Finkelstein, the economic manipulator, saw only numbers and collapse. Pope Ferdinand, serene and unsettling, twisted faith into a weapon of division. Robert Fence, a master of fear, exploited the pandemic for control. Klaus Goldschmidt thrived on division, harvesting data for ultimate ownership. Safari Habari, a chilling visionary, spoke of AI, CRISPR, and mRNA as tools. Eli Efron, a wolf in sheep's clothing, masked a dark mind with a folk hero facade, each a pillar in their dark design. Heitler placed a binder on the table, its title stark and chilling: The Destruction of Humanity. It was not a threat, but a blueprint. The plan unfolded, each piece a shard of a shattered world. Cities would burn, trust would crumble, nations would convulse. Rappaport Marlin spoke of dressing chaos in virtue, framing looters as liberators. Barry Finkelstein nodded, noting the markets collapsing, paving the way for their reset. The economic fabric of society would unravel, leaving only desperation. This was not an accident, but a design. Robert Fence described the pathogen as their finest gift. It chained the world, he said, binding humanity in fear. Masks and mandates became tools of division, not protection. Vaccines, he added, neither prevented nor protected, but served a different purpose. Fear, he declared, was the purest currency, making people beg for their chains. They would willingly surrender their freedom. Pope Ferdinand spoke of faith twisted into swords, igniting ancient divisions. Heitler emphasized their core principle: divide and you conquer without lifting a weapon. It was a silent, insidious war. Goldschmidt highlighted division as a rich source of data. It allowed for precise prediction and ultimate control. Every conflict, every schism, was a data point in their grand design. Barry Finkelstein then turned to demographics. The old outnumbered the young, he noted, making pensions impossible, a system designed to fail, creating widespread discontent. Hitler described importing foreign masses, pliable labor without loyalty. They would be a wedge, further fracturing societies. Rappaport-Marlin added that protests against this would be branded as hate. Lawlessness was another key component. Police would be demoralized, prisons emptied, citizens armed against each other. Society would descend into a self-consuming chaos. Rappaport boasted of writing verdicts before trials through broadcast. The media would dictate justice, shaping public perception. The rule of law would become a distant memory. Pope Ferdinand spoke of the false light. Messiahs and prophets would emerge, speaking lies under the guise of salvation. The world would be led astray by false hope. The group cloaked ruin in robes of progress, cruelty in words of compassion. Their actions were always presented as benevolent. For the greater good, this was their most potent weapon. Mastery of fear, division, and misinformation were their primary tools. They understood the human psyche, its vulnerabilities, its desperate need for answers. They provided those answers, twisted and false. They exploited every human weakness, every societal fault line. Carefully crafted narratives would guide the masses subtly, inexorably, towards their desired outcome. This was not brute force, but psychological warfare. Their actions were designed to destroy, not to build, to hollow out nations from within, leaving them ripe for their ultimate agenda. The world would crumble, not with a bang, but with a whisper. Hitler's voice cut through the oppressive silence. Their architecture, he declared, was nearly complete. It was a foundation laid for a charismatic leader, a figure of immense power. Robert Fence confirmed it with a chilling whisper. They were preparing the Antichrist's throne. The words hung heavy in the air, a dark prophecy made manifest. Pope Ferdinand offered a final, ominous warning. Even Satan himself can appear as an angel of light. The ultimate deception would be cloaked in divine promise. Stanley Young felt a cold dread grip him. The depth of their deception, the impending doom, was now terrifyingly clear. The world was being prepared, primed to embrace a lie. He was trapped within a system of profound evil, a silent witness to humanity's undoing. He realized brute force was not their method. Their greatest weapon was deception, lies wrapped in light. The world, blind and eager, was begging for these deceptions. It craved the false comfort, the easy answers, the manufactured divisions. It was a willing participant in its own demise. A profound sense of dread settled over Stanley. This was a warning, a chilling testament to the dangers of blind faith and the seductive power of deception. The stage was set.